Kuroo had always prided himself on staying calm in a crisis. Even back in high school, when a match slipped through their fingers or a teammate crumbled under pressure, he was the one who held it all together. Steady hands, clear voice, always thinking 5 moves ahead. He used to laugh about it, joke that managing Bokuto's emotional tailspins and coaxing Kenma out of an anxiety spiral had been his real training, long before he became anything close to a professional. "I should have gotten paid for that," he'd say. Emotional support captain. It always got a smile. Even from Kenma. But this wasn't a game. This wasn't nerves before a match or a lost point in overtime. This was real. And no matter how much he wanted to, he couldn't fix it with a timeout or a huddle or a well-placed hand on a shoulder. No speech. No strategy. No play to run. Because Akaashi was gone. And Kuroo didn't know how to come back from that. He stood alone in the bathroom, hands clamped around the edge of the sink like it was anchoring him to the floor. The mirror in front of him offered no comfort. Just a stranger's reflection. Pale face, bloodshot eyes, jaw clenched so tight his teeth ached. He didn't even realize he was shaking until he turned the tap and felt water splash against the tremble of his fingers. Cold, harsh, still didn't help. He could still hear it, playing on loop inside his head like a curse. Akaashi's sharp, sudden gasp. The ugly crack of a slap. Bokuto's voice cracking mid-sentence. And Kenma screaming, his voice raw and feral. Kuroo gripped the edge of the sink tighter, like he could squeeze the sound out of his skull. He was supposed to protect them. All of them. He should have seen it coming. But someone had slipped past them. Past him. And now Akaashi was. No, not gone. Not yet. Bokuto was sitting on the floor of the bedroom, back against the dresser, arms wrapped loosely around his knees. He wasn't crying, hadn't shed a tear, but his eyes were red and glassy, and his whole body looked like it was barely holding itself together. He looked up as Kuroo appeared in the doorway. "I didn't sleep," Bokuto said softly, voice hoarse. "Didn't even close my eyes. Every time I tried, I just kept seeing him." Kuroo stepped inside, lowering himself to the floor beside him. Their shoulders brushed, and for a moment neither of them spoke. Then Bokuto continued, staring down at the floor like the words hurt to say. He was right there that morning. Sitting in the chair. Quiet, but not like usual. He looked like he was fading. Kuroo's throat tightened. "You said something to him." Bokuto nodded once. "Yeah. Just, you okay, Keiji?" And he said yeah. Gave me that little smile, the one he does when he's lying. And I knew something was off. But I let it go. He exhaled sharply, shaky. I let him go. Kuroo closed his eyes for a second, then opened them again. "You're not the only one." Bokuto turned to look at him. "I had seen the photo. 3 days ago. Akaashi at a crosswalk. Just walking. Kenma was worried. I told him it could be old. That he was overthinking it." He swallowed the guilt rising in his chest. "I told him not to panic." Bokuto closed his eyes and leaned his head back against the dresser. The silence between them stretched long and heavy, thick with everything they hadn't said. Finally, Bokuto spoke again. "I'm going to end that guy." Kuroo looked at him. It wasn't bluster. Wasn't fury. It was cold and still and real. "You won't have to," Kuroo said, his voice gentler now. He rested a steady hand on Bokuto's thigh. "Kenma's already digging into everything. IP addresses, phone traces, financial records. He's tearing this guy apart. Not fast enough." Kuroo didn't argue. Just let the words hang in the air before replying. "I know. But if you go after this guy like this, you'll just burn everything in your path. You'll self-destruct before you even reach him." Bokuto's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "And if I don't do something, I'll break anyway." Kuroo's hand tightened slightly. "You are doing something. You're here. You're breathing. You're not falling apart. But I want to. I want to scream. I want to hit something. I want to go back and do it over. Get up when he did. Go with him. Stop it." Kuroo looked at him, and for a second, his own voice faltered. "I want that too." Bokuto turned toward him fully now, eyes wide with guilt. "Do you think he's scared?" Kuroo hesitated. Yeah, he said honestly. But I also think he's fighting. You've seen him, you know him. He doesn't quit. Not even when things are awful. Especially not then. Bokuto drew in a shaky breath. I've never been this scared before. Kuroo didn't respond right away. Just leaned his head back against the wall beside him and exhaled. I know. Neither have I. That night, Kuroo sat on the edge of the bed. Bokuto lay curled beside him, not moving, not speaking. Asleep or faking it, Kuroo didn't know. Didn't push. Kenma was still in his room. The quiet, relentless clack of his mechanical keyboard echoed down the hall like Morse code. We're still here. We're still here. We're still fighting. Kuroo stared down at his phone, thumb hovering over the screen. The picture stared back at him. Akaashi. Mid-step. Unaware. So human. So reachable. He felt like screaming. Instead, he opened his notes app. Not a strategy. Not a plan. Just a promise. Keiji. If you can hear me, I'm so fucking sorry. We weren't careful. I wasn't careful. But we're coming. I swear it. We'll burn the world to get you back. He didn't send it. But he meant every word. The next morning, Kuroo was nursing a lukewarm mug of coffee when Kenma finally emerged from his room. He looked like hell, pale, exhausted, but his eyes were sharp. He walked straight to the kitchen table and dropped a folder onto it with a dull thud. Printouts. Screenshots. Maps. Traces. I found something, he said, voice tight. Kuroo stood slowly. Bokuto appeared behind him, silent. The three of them stood in the kitchen, shoulder to shoulder. Still raw, still scared, but ready. Ready to tear the world open if that's what it took. Part 5 coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and hit that like button. See you in the next one.